All right. We are good to go, Jen, when you are.
Okay. Calling the meeting to order at 6:06 on January 13th for the regular, no, is this regular?
Yep.
Yes, regular
This is the
meeting of the
Village of Jackson.
Village of Jacksonville. So, has everyone had a chance to read the minutes?
They probably the first one they have, the second one never got. We haven't sent out. So we'll have to.
We have we have the minutes of December 9th, 2025.
You know. Whenever you guys are good, you can make the motion.
Okay. Would anyone like to make a motion on December 9th's minutes?
I'll make that motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then we have the minutes for the special meeting, correct? December 18th.
That's this.
I remember that you don't get the pre-meeting that comes in an email, so you never get a printed version. So that's your printed version. And then I'm off everything. Was that forwarded on?
The first one.
So the second one, you had an edit, John, on the second one.
We edited, so this, you have, sick time says, continue to use sick time, and then personal days, it says continue to use sick time.
So personal time. Yeah, I just copy and paste.
I can see that.
So that was right here.
Yep. Do I have a motion to accept the December 18 minutes? Fine. As amended.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And now we are working on the financial report.
As of January 1st, 2026, we had $49,218.20 in our checking account. We received $148,461.71 in payments and $25,047 in interest, while paying out $148,461.70 in.
So that's the same.
I say that's the same number. There's something not right there. Sorry. I apologize on that. I can check that in a second. In checks and ACH payments, our money market balance was $70,227.87. with 23,734 transferred out to cover CDA payment that we talked about last meeting, and $11,250 transferred in for our tree trimming, and to 2,500 transferred in for our property taxes on 12/10. Our current balance of our operating checking account is $64,020.49, and $3,159.06 are on outstanding checks. So 61,000 ish.
Well, give us those numbers again because they're different from what
Yep,
we have.
the operating checking balance is $64,020.49. Right up here. These numbers are all right up here too. Outstanding checks is $3,159.06.
Okay.
So you must have edited this.
Yeah, I gave you the final packet
Yeah.
with the updated stuff. And the money market is 79,000. This would be the same, $79,117.79 with $33,618 unallocated. Do you want me to go pull that statement to give you what money came in versus out on the operating checking, or just send an email to update it?
How long will it take?
5 minutes.
Okay. 5 minutes?
5 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll take quite that long.
You have that figure for the outstanding checks again, 3,000.
$3,159.06.
Thank you.
Sorry, I missed that, guys. I wonder if it's updated right here. Yes.
They all look-
Yes, I'm sorry. It's credits was 148,461. This one. Oh, it probably is in your packet. Yeah. And debits was $141,022.41.
141, 22, and 41.
Yep.
Yeah.
Paid it. Yep. Two. 4. All right. Everybody good on that first paragraph?
Yep.
All right. We currently have a balance of $62,197.95 on our truck loan and $607,093 on the VEPSA loan. VEPSA loan is in deferment, interest only deferment until July 1st, 2026. Statement of receivables in November, we received $2,478.54 less than what we billed out. On December 16th, we billed out $124,971.30 in electric bills. This is $1,163 more than what we budgeted for the month. So far, we've collected $86,595.44 for the month. It's an updated number. Right up here. It's that updated number. For the month with bills being due on December 15th. Solar issue has been fully resolved. The customer has not come back with any questions at this point. So that customer has a credit of $13,942 prior to this billing that we're about to do. Receivables, we have received $18,084.15. We have $18,084.15 in current 30-day plus.
18 and 84.
18 and 84.15.
Not the 19.
Correct. That essentially somebody paid us some of their past due balance. I'm not sure. Honestly. So that is the financial report with that one update. I don't know. You guys usually vote on the financial report. Any particular questions? Payables. So I will say Amanda and I are really struggling with the ACH. We've talked about this a few times. It makes it very difficult because ACHs occur the middle of the month, kind of throughout the month. And so it's really difficult for us to say this is how much is being paid out this, this particular time versus this is how much has already been paid out. So that's something we're trying to figure out how we can do that better. So the total payables, including the VEPSA payment we already paid and everything, is $150,941.09, which is this number right here. We believe it's about 96,000 that still needs to be paid out. That includes the current CDA. So in the pre-packet, this is the report that's included in there. It's a status report, so that gives you all the invoices that we have to pay.
Yeah.
Instead of in this format, we can't actually do the warrant format until the day of the meeting because you have to actually issue the checks first.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something I print as well going forward, just because your budget, the payable status report is not necessarily up to date. I probably should print the actual. So I'll just go through this really quick. Alpha Arbors, we had our 3 approved contracts that the 3 things that we had talked about last meeting. Catamount Restoration does the floor cleaning twice a year. Our write-offs from December, Village of Jacksonville electric bill, rental of the bucket from Greg Brown. That was for the work done at the municipal center for the most part. Green Mountain Power, this was for the tech to come down and figure out that our
The switch there.
switch is broken. So this is not for them to repair it. This was just to come out and troubleshoot it. Haverluck, this is the first billing for the month of January for us to pay Haverluck to do the tree trimming. He said he's starting on the 27th. I included my report later. He's supposed to start on the 27th, the week of the 27th on Bernard. Is what he's
So
telling
you
me.
told us like last time that he had a fire
Yeah.
and he must have.
Needs help.
He just told me that he's planning to start work on the week of the 27th. I haven't
All
heard.
set.
Yeah, he must be all set. So he hasn't said otherwise. So April Perry for our water bill. KBS is our auditor. This is the last payment or this is the first payment for this audit. Lakeview Landscaping for plowing and sanding. Nido for cleaning the boiler in the back room. Hasn't been done in a while. We did it this year. And he said it very much needed it. So good thing we did. Couple things for the town of Whitingham. We had a lien release that we had to do, and then our dump sticker for the $50. Mileage, I had to go up for a meter training in Ludlow. So that's that mileage. I did not go to the VEPSA meeting this month because it was pretty bad weather that day. So I did not go. Took it here. Our EEU for Efficiency Vermont payment. Veemers is our retirement payment. Laura Allen for her
See, I
time
don't have
here.
that sheet.
No, you don't. This is
No.
something we can't print this particular format until the day of the meeting. And that's what I'm saying. I'll print this going forward. I think it's better that you guys have this
It's, yeah.
in front of you.
I thought I'd seen them before. I think.
They are up. It's up here though. That's what I'm going through. So VEPSA, these are VEPSA payments that were paid on this. They've already been paid, the December payments. Casella, this was our last payment. So Casella does work and then bills you after the fact. So this is actually our last payment to Casella. It has already been canceled, but this will be the last one. DV fiber, and vision insurance that Amanda and I paid for, Delta insurance. And as you can see, this is coming through as two payments because of the timing of how all this is coming through. This is what I'm saying. It's not a very clear, this is what you paid last month versus this is what you paid this month because of the ACH. Amazon, we had the meter plugs that we had talked about, that we're going to have one at the library and one here that people will be able to rent out and use to check how much their kilowatts are using. That was something we got on Amazon. Garbage cans, still waiting on them to come in from China, apparently. And chair wheels, we were using mine. I had to take mine back home. So I had to order the ones that just can go on the carpet. Trash removal, again, this is the timing of everything, that last one versus this one. DV fiber, again, duplicate because of that. Creative technologies, the two mailings, again, duplicate because of the timing. Department of Taxes, this was the gross fuel tax. MVP Healthcare, Quill Corporation, that was a 3-month calendar for 2026 that we ordered. Department of Taxes for our sales and use tax. And then these are VEPSA payments for this year, or for this month, that you see there. So you're authorizing us to pay those going forward, including the CDA payment of the $61,000. FMBO credit card. The big one that we had this month, we have Hadley and NEPA members are working with us to do outages, as we've mentioned. So I asked Green Mountain Power for a copy of their key for us to be able to access all of our equipment at the metering point. And Green Mountain Power said, no, go get your own key. Go get your own padlocks. So we had to order padlocks for the metering point. We also will be using them on our DCUs. So that was $426 for the padlocks. They're key to like padlocks. They're brass all-weather padlocks. They ordered 30 of them. For some reason, padlocks are not cheap anymore.
Where do we need 30?
Well, we're gonna need it. We have 9 DCUs. We had 9 of them up there, so that's 18.
Okay.
And the price was better to do 30 versus 20.
Okay.
So I figured it's not gonna hurt us
And
to
they're
have a
all
few
keyed
extra.
the same.
And they're all keyed the same, so we all have a key now. So it's a one-time expense is my hope.
Yeah,
It's not
okay.
gonna be something that we come up with every time. Reception 24/7 is our reception. This was from 2 months ago when I had to stay up there, stay in Barry for that meeting for the CAPI conference.
Yeah.
It was cheaper for me to stay up there than to come back and forth. So we have the hotel and a dinner. Home Depot, I'd have to look at what that is. I can't remember, for $40. Oh, I think it's the window stuff. But I have to check if it's not. UMA, and then Adobe for the software. And then the only thing I did add one thing that for some reason wasn't showing on here because it came in late, was a WEX payment for our truck fuel, for $175.81. So that was it for the payables. Any questions, any concerns, any comments?
Make a motion that we approve the payable warrant.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
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 You're ready.
Okay.
This is just the signing. For the payroll warrant, total payroll was $16,707.83. The guys actually worked, first of all, this is a 5th week. So we have 5 weeks this month, so it's a little higher payroll. We've been running around the 12, 13 range every month. This is a 5th week month where there's 5 weeks. And then the guys did a lot of work at the municipal center, getting that fixed up and ready for doing the underground work and things, and that's hitting this payroll. So that's why it's a little higher. But total is $16,707.83.
Motion to approve payroll warrant.
Are we gonna get reimbursed for any of that?
We already have them. Yep.
At the municipal center?
Yep. Actually, they're reimbursing us higher than what we get for.
Okay,
We bill out, we pay the guys $70 an hour, and we bill out at 110. So $40 an hour.
okay. I'll make a motion that we approve the payroll warrant.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we are now on to managers report. Excitement plus.
What?
Excitement.
This is the type of payroll one. Give me a second.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I don't have the report. Did you?
Which
no,
one?
I don't have your report.
Manager's report.
Yeah,
Right there. Isn't it?
oh,
Yeah.
right there.
That's how my day's been all night.
Plus.
I am, right? So rate case update. There's been no word on the article from Vermont Digger. I don't know if anybody else has seen anything, but I've been looking, and I've done 4 interviews, I think.
Oh, my goodness.
And they haven't done anything, so I'm okay with that. But if anybody sees it, let me know. I will let you know if I see any. We received our 2nd round of discovery questions. So essentially the DPS gives you a 2nd round of questions. There's a single question with 2 parts around tree trimming. And we actually we submitted the responses to our attorney for review today. So it's that's kind of the last step that we have to do.
What are they questioning?
The question was on the remainder. So we essentially have a budget of $120,000. We have a contract for Haverlock in 2026 for $72,000. And they said, well, what's the rest of it being spent on? And so we gave a little bit of an explanation of what it's being spent on. And then we gave them a breakdown of what 2025 looked like, where we fully spent that 120,000 to show we did it.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't ask for it, but I think so. That's why I kept saying it's really important we fully spend this money, because that's what they're looking at, is to see, did you spend that? And so we were able to show, yeah, we spent it all. I think we were $87 over our.
And the only reason there's a difference is because the bid came in low.
Exactly. Well, yeah, the bid came in low. Eventually, that's going to bridge that gap, because, but also, I mean, in theory, the way I kind of have positioned it is, I think it's about $190,000 to $100,000 worth of tree trimming every year, and then you have danger trees will be the extra 30,000 or miscellaneous thing. So I hope it's never fully 120, but it might be, and then we'll just have to go from there. So that's kind of the last step for us and what we need to do. The Department of Public Service will issue a recommendation to the Public Utility Commission on February 26, 2026. So we're kind of waiting until then. Hopefully they'll issue a recommendation to be the same as with the 12.479. And then at that point, if it is, then we'll just wait for the Public Utility Commission to issue their ruling. If it's a little different, then we'll have to know from there what we have to do to make adjustments. But based on the questions that they're asking at this point, I don't anticipate a whole lot of variance. AMI update. I'm expecting our DCUs to arrive soon. I have asked about it. There was an unexpected delay at the Hubble manufacturing facility. Over the holidays, they shut down for 2 weeks, which was not expected on any of the radars with the managers, project managers. So we're kind of waiting for confirmation that they're on their way. We're expecting there might be a little bit of a delay there. But they told us mid-January, so we're hoping that's going to be arriving soon. Once our DCUs are in-house, we're going to begin the installation process. 2025 tree trimming is almost complete. The danger trees that were identified are completely on the ground at this point. The work, working on the service lines for Route 100, I was told was finished today, and Nate began work on Laurel Lake today. So he's out there working on it this afternoon. So I will be doing sending 2 of the 3 checks that we have for Nate tomorrow. Trevor is beginning work on Bernard Road on the week of the January 27th, as I mentioned before. Battery storage, Ken and I, we haven't really had much meetings on this because of the holidays and everything. So we're getting back in the routine. We have a meeting on Thursday this week to discuss next step with engineers. Again, this is not, we're not paying for any of this. VEPS is paying for all of it. The engineers are really siting engineers, figuring out what the best location is for the battery. So we have that meeting on Thursday to begin that conversation. It was supposed to be next week. It's been changed to Thursday. Department of Public Service reviewed our application and made some edits that they thought were beneficial. They sent it back to me this is for the grid grant. They sent it back to me and had me review it, and essentially their changes misrepresent how we do our tree trimming, and it doesn't align with actually how we do it. So I've had to kind of go back and rewrite a lot of what the Department of Public Service put in there, trying to help us. So that's something I'm working through, hoping to have that done by the end of the week, so that we can fully submit that to the Department of Energy. And that's for that $300,000 grant for tree trimming that we're supposed to get. GMP metering points. So GMP has asked us if we'd be interested in assisting them with 3 interconnection points from the Jacksonville grid to Green Mountain Power territory. They're essentially looking at 1 on Cyrus Road, 1 on Burrington Hill Road towards the Green Road side, and 1 on Fowler Road about halfway down the road. So this would get rid of some of their cross-country things. This is beneficial for us because we get paid for wheeling fees. So this would actually be beneficial for both of us. And so we're working through that process. I have a meeting, I think, next week on this. But this is a big change. Green Mountain Power was pretty adamant about never doing this in Jacksonville because they planned to buy us and weren't going to help us in the meantime. But it seems like they have a change of heart a little bit. Come on. So,
Maybe we've just been stuffing it.
or we've been stubborn enough. I'm not sure which one it is.
Who is involved in this meeting for Green Mountain?
From a Green Mountain perspective, we don't have a meeting with Green.
Who's the we for representing Jacksonville? Just you and
Myself, Ken. So essentially there's other VEPSA members who have this already. And I'm trying to get a sense of the benefit to Jacksonville, how much benefit we'd be getting from this. So the first meeting is with Rod, myself, Ken Nolan, Steve Farnham, and Kim Harris, who's kind of the communications coordinator between the metering points. So she's the one who makes sure the data feeds come in. So just kind of getting it's kind of we want to get our ducks in a row, figure out we need to do, how much benefit we're going to get, so that when we go back to Green Mountain Power, we can have a more informed conversation. But Green Mountain Power has reached out to Rod and asked for what that's going to look like.
He's still in Florida,
He is still in Florida.
totally erect and standing up straight, and well,
We'll talk after the meeting. Outages in the spot. Lower Holbrook, on 12/30, we had a pretty good windstorm. Lower Holbrook called for an outage. Upon inspection, the line had a tree on the neutral and the hot, which caused the fuse to trip. Right at the split, right at the very top of Lower Holbrook. We removed the tree, made sure that that was the only problem, and refused the line. We were all set. Merrifield Road, while we were at that call, we had a call on Merrifield Road that there was a call for a tree, took out power to one house. We got there, cut the tree off the line, re-hooked up the line. And while we were there, we got a call for Route 100. There was a pole that didn't look right, is what Greg told us. So Randy and I went down to look at the pole. It had snapped under ground level. It wasn't consolidated, it's pole set. So we had them replace the pole. We finished the transfer on the 6th. So that was minimal cost to us, luckily. So pretty easy outage set for that day. On the 21st, I have those out of order. On the 21st, 863 Kentfield Road, call for multiple outages upon arrival. A tree that we had identified as a danger tree that Alpha Arbors was going to take down had fallen before we got it cut and fell on the primary, took it out. So we had to remove the tree, rewire the line. Nate's going to take some of that money that we had for that danger tree and put it towards Laurel Lake. But it just goes to point out how important the danger trees are to take down when we identify them. Line extensions, no major changes there. And VEPSA meeting, there really wasn't a whole lot. It was mostly kind of just getting the numbers for the budget fully solidified. There was a few changes there. And kind of just going through all of them. So that's what I have for that.
We don't have to.
You don't have to.
Old business. Ethics training.
Ethics training. I don't have the new one yet, so I kept it on here because a good placeholder. But I don't have a new ethics training link or anything like that. I don't know. If you see it, definitely forward it as well. I'm sure you have to do it for work as well. So, budget review. So I printed off a new copy of the budget for everybody. So I have two different versions of a budget that I put together. Yeah, use the printout one, not the one in your packet. So essentially, I created two different budgets. The first one is what the column that says 2026 first pass, and the second one is 2026 lean. So what I was trying to do, if you go to the last page, you can actually see this page right here. You can actually see if we do 2026 first pass, we're going to have a deficit of 88,000. If I do the lean, and I'll go through what lean means, I have a deficit of $36,262. And lean cut out quite a bit. I just want to go through and show you what I cut out on the lean. So as you're going down the list, you can see maintenance and structures of equipment out towards the bottom. Here, I'll actually do it on this.
No changes on top.
No major changes. I mean, I can't control power supply costs, for example. So this kind of goes in the order of your most important costs. So when I go down the list, I have my loans. We have to pay the loans. Then we have our transmission costs and purchase power costs. All of that part, power costs, they're fixed. We can't really change them. Line and station supplies, I kept at 25,000. I probably could cut that technically. But again, at some point you're just cutting it just to have it on paper and you're not gonna hit the budget anyway. Maintenance and
But
structure,
that's something you control. As you.
to some degree, I mean, we have to purchase things for line extensions, for example.
Yeah.
If we have to purchase it for line, we have to do it.
Well, that's a
Um,
wash.
Well, unless you have to buy something, if you have to buy
Yeah.
5 of something in order to
Yeah.
do one line extension. But yeah, so there's, I mean, you can see we actually spent 50,000 last year. I cut my budget to 25,000. For me to cut that anymore, I'm a little nervous on cutting too much there.
Yeah.
Maintenance of structures and equipment. I'm estimating that we're gonna need 11,571. If we go lean, I can probably pull off 5,000. That would essentially be saying we're not upgrading any poles and we're only gonna make do with the transformers we have out there. I don't know if I can pull that off or not. It's gonna do, I mean, we have a bunch of outages that cause us to use transformers, but we won't do, essentially, I'm cutting this, doing any line upgrades. So I'm just not gonna do any cross country, pulling it out to the road or anything. It's just basic. So then we go to the next page.
But what's the long-term effect of not doing?
So the one area that I really wanted to work on pulling some of it out is if you go up Route 100 from Jacksonville, on the hill, where Dave Munson lives, the old sugar house, there's the cross country line there. I wanted to work on pulling that out to the road. The estimated cost, I had Greg put an estimated cost together, it's about 80,000. But what it does, I mean, when you think about it, that's cross country. So if we have an outage in there, we're talking about $25,000-$30,000 for Green Mountain Power to bring a track digger in, or so you're kind of, it's a quarter of the cost if you have an outage. So we're gonna have 4 poles break in the next 5 years, probably not. But at some point they are gonna break, and we should pull it out. My plan was to do $15,000 worth of work this year. Was what I was hoping to do. So that you'll see line upgrades when we get there. I had 15,000 budget.
What's the tree trimming look like in that area?
So we would have to trim. That's probably what we would do this year. Is the tree trim. So we currently, I think it was maybe 3 years ago, we had Trevor go in and clean out that. So it is cleaned out. But I mean, you only clean 15 feet either direction.
Yeah.
A big tree falls on it, you're still.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's hard to know what the impact is.
Kind of across your fingers.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, doing upgrades is good. It's also depreciable on our books, which is good, but I think it's an easy area we can cut if we can this year. We just don't want to go too many years without doing anything.
Right.
Maintenance of lines. You can see we spent $27,000 this year. My first pass is reducing that to 15,000. And going with the lean, going down to 10,000, which is pretty tight. Then we have our tree trimming work. You can see is the 120,000. Storm restoration, we spent $7,700, but we only started keeping track of this about March this year. So we have a few months that we didn't include in this. So I budgeted 10,000, and again, storm restoration. I don't think we can really adjust that budget, so I kept it at 10,000, even for lean. Then we have outage restoration that's non-storm related. This year we spent 30,000, and I'm budgeting 30,000 on both lean and regular. Miscellaneous, we have 3,000. This is for the AMI project. I will tell you, I think we might be spending more than 3,000 on AMI, but I just don't know right now. It depends on if we're fully up and running, we'll spend money on it. If we're not fully up and running, we won't spend any money. So it really just depends on the timing. And then we're going to start getting a fiber bill for the DCU that we're going to have to pay of the $4,320. So then we go into meter reading labor. Last year we spent 10,000. I anticipate we're gonna spend more than that with Richard doing some of these installs for meters. I can probably learn to do some as well to try to save a little bit of money there, but I don't think we're gonna save a whole lot, and we still do need to do our meter reading labor in the meantime. So my hope is it evens out in the end for a savings perspective. Meter supplies and expenses. This is really just if we have to buy meters or if we have to buy clips. We might have a little bit of savings there. I didn't take anything out. It's $500. I didn't really do much with that. Uncollectible accounts, 3,000. It's this year we spent 1,500. You don't see it on here because it's on the warrant for tonight, but it is in there for last year. This year we spent, I think it was 1,100 total. So I did reduce it in the lien to 1,500. It really depends. We don't have to write off anybody technically from a budget perspective. Electricity, this year we spent $3,100 in electric. We heat our building with electric on the side, so that's why our electric bills are so high. I do think there's potential savings there. So lean, I did 2,500, which essentially turned this way down unless we're in here, close the door. I think there's potential for savings there. So I did do that. Fuel oil is $1,320. That's for the garage, and my lean is essentially shut off that heater in there. Don't have heat in the garage. I don't think it's a good idea, but we could do it. I don't think there's anything in there that could technically freeze. It just might take longer for the truck to start. So, just to be clear, I don't recommend the lean, but I want to put it out there that it's possible. We could do it, but the saving, you're really only talking $30,000 worth of savings. So that's why I'm water. We don't have a choice on sewer. We don't have a choice on. So that has our utilities. Telephone expense. You can see last year we spent $1,700.88 on telephone. I found some savings there that we're going to do on the phone lines and things like that, bring it down to $1,200 for either of them. Technically, lean, if we wanted to, we could figure out some way of dropping. I don't know how we do it, but somehow figure out one phone in here. I'm not sure how we could pull that off, but we could figure out something potentially. Internet, same thing. It's pretty fixed. We could reduce down to a 75 megabits per second instead of the 90, but I think we would start seeing a pretty big lag in what we do by doing that. Website expense is a fixed expense unless we got rid of the website. The salaries are I believe I built in a 4% COLA on this, and that's Amanda's updated salary plus the COLA for this year. So budget wise, it's included. Trustee auditor pay is in there. Office expenses and supplies. You can see we spent 5,200. I budgeted 6,000. I reduced to 5,000. Might be able to go down to maybe 4,500, 4,000 in there. That's really just paper, ink, things like that. If we can potentially use, do less printing, we might be able to save a little more. Microsoft, we have Microsoft license on 3 computers. We could technically remove the license on this. It would make it a little more difficult for me to share at this board meeting, but we could remove the license on this to get a little bit of savings, $300 there. We have Adobe licenses, Acrobat licenses that allow us to edit PDFs. We could remove that if we went into the lean. Creative technologies, we can't change anything. Creative tech annual contract, we really can't change anything. Just the tech support, 8,800. That is for we contracted them through VEPSA to build net metering for us. All 3 utilities that use them. This is us paying VEPSA back for that. VEPSA already paid for it. We have to pay it back, so that's why we don't have a choice there. And then our annual contract is $2,700. Nemrick, this is for the, this is what's left after we have our, two different pieces of the software we actually use. Pay accounts payable and, general ledger.
Is there any chance of moving away from Nemrick altogether?
There's a potential. So we're having conversations about it. And there potentially could be savings there because, there's a software, NetSuite is what it's called, that VEPSA uses, and we can become a child of the VEPSA NetSuite, which is we only would pay, I think it's like $500 a year. So there is potential savings there. The question would be when our auditors are comfortable
Right.
with us making that move.
That's right.
And I've already talked to them about that. We just need to get through the audit first and then have the conversation about when is it best
Yeah,
to do it.
Okay.
And I'm
I
not,
just want to make sure that's still.
it's still
on the
potential. It is. We need to have a conversation a little bit more about that because what it would do is it would open up our books for VEPSA to see. We've already had VEPSA go through our books and work on our books. So I'm not convinced it's a big deal, but it is something that we should be aware of. It would open up our books so VEPSA would be able to see everything. For us, I don't think it matters that much. For other utilities, it matters a little bit more because they're running other things other than electric departments. So that's our software. Uniforms and equipment. I did uniforms and safety equipment. I did $1,000, removed it completely with the lien. Now we're getting into things that we can actually affect. So conferences, I have the American Public Power and NEPA conference in there, but we can remove it for the lien. So I have those removed completely. So that's the training seminars, 5,000. I removed it to be nothing for lien. Outside mailing services. Amanda and I spent some time looking at this to see could we actually save money by by folding envelopes and stuffing envelopes and doing it in house, and we really don't think we can. We get discounted postage through the mailing service we have.
How many envelopes?
We used to do it. It's 700, about 700 envelopes. We did it, but the postage is cheaper and like 20 cents an envelope cheaper. We pay about a dollar bill to send. And I'm really not convinced we could do it. I mean, 73 cents for the postage, plus we'd have to buy the envelopes and then do the time to do it, which time kind of figuring we're both salary. So that's why I was trying to figure out if we're both salary, can we do it? And I don't think you're saving much if you do anything. So 10,000 I had there. Annual meeting, I budget $500. Essentially, we do a dinner usually, but we could make that zero for the lien. So I made that zero. Reception 24/7. There's no savings there. So that's your outside services employed. And then we get into our page.
What are outside services?
Three. Right now, there's a few on there for 2025. We put them into their own buckets for 2026,
Okay.
except for reception 24/7. They're in there as an outside
What
service.
does reception 24/7 actually do?
They're our outage line. When we're not around, they answer the phone for us.
And what do they do when the phone rings and they answer it?
And then they send us a text saying, Rod, myself, and Amanda all get a text saying, there's an outage. This is the location. This is the phone number.
Seems
I
like an
thought-
answering service.
It is an answering service. Yeah.
I thought when you call and you click,
One for outage.
it goes straight to your phone.
It rings my phone, but if I'm asleep or I'm not available, it goes to the outage, the 24-hour receptionist. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So essentially, we try to answer because we get like 25 minutes included in
Why
our
can't-
plan.
Why can't the answering machine go to your text? So then you're getting the same thing.
The problem is I don't know if we get the same. We want to get the information we would need. Like we tell them exactly what to ask a customer. I'm just not sure a customer leave that information.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's also not a live person. I get the feeling customers might be like, are they actually getting this, or is this just an answering machine?
Yeah.
You know, where that's an actual real
Hmm.
person who answers and says, "Hey,
And
this
they'd be
is
calling during an emergency type of situation.
right."
Be
Right.
better to have a real live person on the other end.
Yeah.
That's been my philosophy, and honestly, it's fairly cheap in the grand. Like I've looked at replacing it with other companies, and other companies for 25 minutes, or I mean, hundreds of dollars a month, multiple hundreds of dollars a month, and we're paying $40 a month.
Yeah.
Obviously, if we go over that $25, I think they bill us at $1 or something a minute. But even the worst months, the biggest bill we've ever had was 70 something. And that's usually like 3 or 4 times a year. Are you good with that? Or you
And we
want me-
know how many times they've actually answered the phone.
Yeah, we have a recording of every single call that they get. And I mean, I could show you the dashboard. The dashboard has the minutes, and because it's all by minutes. But we have recordings of it, and yeah.
Okay.
Line extension payments. This is an arbitrary number. Essentially, it's just half of what. I'm sorry. Line extension expenses. This is essentially just half of whatever the line extension payment was on the first page. So just to be aware of that. So fees and dues. So VLCT we have to be a member of in order to get our insurance. So I have VLCT on there. Essentially NEPA, we were this year. We were a member of NEPA, and I believe to be part of the mutual aid organization, we have to stay a member of NEPA. So that's $1,000. I wanted to join PERMA, which is the insurance it's the branch of NEPA that does insurance reviews and helps you navigate your insurance and figure out where your gaps are in your insurance and because VLCT is really a municipality insurance company. They're not an electric insurance company. And so there was a lot of conversation around having PERMA help us with that, but you have to be a member of PERMA to get that service. So that was a recommendation for $1,300. And American Public Power, which is the national version of NEPA, was the other one that I recommended joining. Obviously, the only one we have to, if we want to go lean, would be the VLCT.
On the PERMA.
Yeah.
Is there the thought that they would be able to save you money?
Yeah, so they claim that they save you more than your dues every year. But they also help you find out where your gaps are. Where is it that something could happen that your insurance doesn't cover you?
Yeah.
They also are an insurance, and not the VLCT is a not-for-profit insurance company.
Yeah.
PERMA offers insurance as well, so they would put your quote together and compare: is VLCT cheaper or is this cheaper? So that's something that PERMA offers. And it's through NEPA. So it's an electric supply, it's a nonprofit electrical supply. It's a group of utilities that essentially, the PERMA was created by a group of utilities that essentially said their insurance was not good enough for what we have and for what we do. And we need to create our own bucket for insurance. And so that's how PERMA started. But the big thing that they do is a comprehensive insurance audit. Every year they come in and do an audit of this is what you have for insurance, this is what you're paying, making sure that we know all the ins and outs. And then if there's ever a claim, they also help us with the claim process. So they'll say, you had that coverage, make sure you go after it, or no, you don't. And this was, we've talked about getting insurance on poles, for example. Somebody hits a pole, they don't have insurance. Do we have coverage? No, we don't. And so that was a conversation about, where PERMA might come in. I don't know if they'll be able to offer us insurance or not on poles, but it was a good example of an area that they might be able to bridge a gap that we don't otherwise have.
Well, some of the things that have set us back in the recent past have been outages or accidents that we weren't able to collect on.
And so the hope would be that they might have some ideas at least of where we might be able to get coverage.
I mean, the one that was down here on 112?
Yeah.
What did that cost us? 25,000?
We just sent another invoice on that.
Okay.
Well, we're working on it. He's living in our territory now,
Okay.
so things are a little different. So we're seeing if we can get anything on it.
Okay.
But yes, that that was 25. Yeah. The Green Mountain Power bill was for $23.99.
So something like that doesn't help our bottom line.
No, not at all. All right, so that's dues and fees. Our audit is fixed for this year. That is going to be what it costs. GIS, we really can't change that. We have a contract with it. Management services, there might be a potential to save there if we pull in our VEU again, 1,377. We might be able to save potentially on that. So then our property insurance, I got a breakout from VLCT of our difference between our property and casualty insurance versus our workers' comp. So that gives you that breakout. That was something I think we've been struggling with understanding. So that's nice that we have it at least. I think it seems reasonable. The property and casualty. I know I pay about $3,000 for my property based on being a business. So I think this is a bigger business. I assume that it seems about right. FICA Medi, obviously we can't change that. Retirement, without changing our employees, we couldn't change that. MVP, unless we change our structure, we can't change that. Delta Dental, same thing. And so that makes up our health and dental. Payroll taxes, same concept. Property taxes, same thing. Gross receipts, same thing. Revenue tax, same thing. Analysis charge, we potentially could save on this. It's a $300. What this does is it allows us to do remote deposit. So all the checks that we receive, we can run them through our scanner here instead of having to drive to a bank and run it up there. My opinion is by the time somebody runs up there, you are better off just paying $300 a year. But miscellaneous general expenses, always something that comes up every year that's just a miscellaneous expense. So that is just there for that. So I have that built in. For the transportation expense, I have this broken out by VEPSA meetings and then everything else meetings. So the VEPSA meetings, that is me going to all the VEPSA meetings versus if we go lean is me not going to VEPSA meetings. And then the miscellaneous travel is when the DPS wants us to go to a meeting or something like that. I think I planned 6 in there. It's about $250 every time we go somewhere. So depending on how far it is, but Burlington is about 230, 250. So that's to give some perspective. So that's 3 meetings. So that's transportation expense. Truck fuel. We spent $2,500 this year. We did a lot of line extensions. I'm recommending $2,000 for next year. And then lean would be $1,500. Then we have our.
What could you possibly cut in order to make your fuel expense?
So if we're not doing line upgrades or less on line maintenance, the theory is we're using less truck fuel.
Okay.
That's kind of how I built that. Annual service of the bucket. I don't think we should cut on that. The dielectric, we can't use the bucket if we don't get dielectric tested.
That's testing, not texting.
Yes, testing. Good catch. Good catch.
Keep testing me.
Yeah, exactly, right. Annual service of the pickup, we usually spend about $1,200 a year on the pickup. Usually it's some sort of breaks need to be done.
This is what Richard drives.
Yeah. I cut it down to 1,000, in hopes of maybe saving a little bit. I think we could go really lean and do 500. Summer tires. So we just bought winter tires for $825. We're also due for summer tires, but in lean, we could just use the winter tires during the summer
Yeah,
if
but
we
then
wanted
you're
to.
gonna buy winter tires.
The point I'm trying to make by going through all this, I'm really trying to cut wherever I can. That's really what I'm trying to do. And there aren't places to cut. Our expenses are pretty. They're handed to us from other organizations. It's not really our internal expenses. It's not our admin. There are very, very few places that we can cut. It's really what the goal of going through this was. I'm trying to give you a lean, and even my lean isn't even breaking even. So that's the point of showing you this.
Well, it's in black and white so we can at least see,
Exactly.
you know.
Yeah. Plowing, we did have plowing. Cleaning, we have the twice a year cleaning that we talked about on the floor. We can cut that. Garbage removal. Just keep in mind this doesn't Richard's time and my time are separate lines, so that's not all garbage. It's 250 is what I'm expecting for the dump sticker, the actual punches, and trash bags and things like that. And then miscellaneous for general plant. I saved $1,000 for whatever miscellaneous things come up. Obviously, lean we can cut. So all that makes up our budget.
What is sidewalk maintenance?
Oh, sidewalk maintenance. So that every spring we have
Plowing, oh, okay.
every spring we have somebody come and do the cleaning. Yeah, you remember that. So I had that on the first pass, but we could cut that if we did the lean, we could cut that, which is 2,500. So all that rolls up to a deficit of 88,000 for first pass, or the lean of 36,000. So the question would be, you want to go to the lean or some version of the lean to save the 50,000, or do we want to make up for it with rates? Is really what it comes down to.
So I see options for short-term lean. If we're trying to pull ourselves out,
Right.
John made a comment to use the summer tires as an example. It would be an expense, yes, to come up with winter tires. So we'd have between the years, the whole year, we would have a saving.
But next year you'd have.
You'd
an
have,
expense.
you'd have an expense. That's a bad example. So I see where we could have short-term expenses. So you're talking about perma. When you're talking about doing, dues to a company who could show us where we have gaps, we're going to spend more on insurance because now you're going to be filling the gaps. But you're holding your breath and hoping that you can get through a year and not have any issues.
So the other
You
concern.
could go,
Go
a
ahead.
better example would be, sidewalk maintenance.
Yes.
You're kind of doing without some, you did a sort of a luxury doing without by taking the garbage to the dump. and all that. But so I could see a version. I could see some of the VEPSA meetings, you could compromise and go to some of the more necessary ones and do the video conference, split it in half. Or go once a quarter. I don't know. Those kind of things. I think we could back off on uniform purchases. There was one in here where we had storm restoration and outage restoration. And those are expenses that are those two expenses happening basically because of trees? Or are there other instances?
There's others. We have squirrels, a lot of squirrels. We have calls for no power. But you get there and there's power. Just did that on Friday. There's trees, obviously, is the easy one. Car accident. Somebody hits one of our poles, has the potential to do it. There's and I think there's probably 1,000 different reasons.
Well,
I think
so
that kind of thing.
Yeah, the reason I asked that is like if you're taking this money that you're spending here on the restoration, to put it towards the line maintenance or the tree trimming.
Right.
To cut it. It's not a savings, it's just a shifting.
Shifting. Yeah. So the reason we do the storm separate. So the storm is separated from the non-storm because if we ever have a FEMA issue or a FEMA reimbursement, it gives us the ability to separate those out. So that's why we separate them out in the first place. Outage restoration, non-storm is way bigger than it always is. We get a lot more calls for, I don't know what's going on.
Well, so much wind.
Is
has
there
been
any-
just
Right.
Is there any? You basically just have to go there, right?
Yeah, it's either I go there or Green Mountain Power. So the issue we had on Friday was the person called Green Mountain Power. Green Mountain Power went there, and then they didn't want to go inside. They saw the meter was working, and then went back home. And Green Mountain Power called me and said, "You need to go figure out what the issue is. There's power to the." So we got billed for both Green Mountain Power and my son for going.
Why are they going to?
So that's our next step, is telling Green Mountain Power, don't even take calls for Jacksonville customers, because it's been 2 years that we've had this outage line in place. Customers should be able to figure out, call us. So that one ticked
They
me
just
off.
shouldn't even be going.
Well, they should, whoever answers their phone
That's
should
not
say,
our territory.
Right, it's not us.
it's not us, it's all Jacksonville.
That's the next step.
They know that. They know that. Don't pay the bill. I'm sorry, you shouldn't have gone.
Yeah,
Seriously.
So they asked us when we first started doing this, they asked Rod and I, do you want us to not respond to things at all? And they said, the problem is if there's that fire, this person's house is about to catch fire because they have a line on fire. we want them to still be able to call Green Mountain Power. That was the original conversation. I think we're beyond that at this point. We feel confident enough that we can, that we've had one situation where that was actually a problem. And I mean, we're just, but it's again, making sure that we have that reception line ready to go. If we don't have, if we got rid of the reception line, I would say absolutely not. We can't do that. But if we have that, I think we're fine to do that. And so that's the next step for us, I think, is, and I've already started that conversation, is just tell them their answering service should not be answering Jacksonville calls. If they are, send them to us.
Yeah.
We'll handle it.
Sometimes I think Green Mountain Power takes advantage.
Well, I was a little ticked on Friday when I found out that they went out and then decided to call me and tell me I got to go figure out. You were there.
And then they.
If you're already there, why wouldn't you go talk to the customer who called it in? Oh yeah, they'll bill us. That'll be $1,700 for them to show up. And then they called me to do the work anyway. And I'm pretty sure I know who the foreman was. I'm not happy about it. Rod and I were a little antsy on Friday over it.
So just don't pay the bill. The trustees
problem
didn't
is-
authorize
The
it.
problem is then they don't come to the next one that we actually need them. Then we're on our own. Kind of got to keep them happy without. Oh. All right. That's budget.
So, when we get through here, that 88,000 that we're
over.
still in the hole.
That was a 14% increase.
What's that?
That's a 14% increase in rates. It's built into that. It's still coming up with 88,000 short.
So what's that, our next rate case?
That'll be the July rate, which has started officially. They've started asking me for numbers. So, which we knew. I mean, we knew it was going to happen because
Yeah.
we had to pay the VEPSA loan back. That hasn't been factored in. But
Sometime we have to get to zero.
we're going to get to zero. But the problem is you're not going to get to zero when you have power supply increases of 9% per year.
Right.
Power supply increased 9% this year. That's our biggest expense. More than half of our costs increased by 9% this year alone. So until you get that to go up by 2% instead of 9%, you're gonna have to go in for a rate increase. And that's what all of us are seeing.
Well, that's all.
Let's exactly. So once that stabilizes, so that's my theory, is once that stabilizes, then we can go back to having a budget that's balanced and also figuring out where we can start adding some of the more luxury items back in.
We all good? We don't need to make a decision, correct?
Well, it's January.
Which,
I can operate under the lien for now, if you're okay with that. And then next meeting, maybe we can get a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Is that?
So basically, we're at a point of making a decision between the two, is what you're saying.
Well, I mean, or some version of it. If you're saying you want to do summer tires, we can add the summer tires back. You know, like tell me what you want included. My recommendation is the first pass, but that's you really. That
How many miles does he put on a week? Is he using the truck like 2 days a week, 3 days a week? Or is this 2 or 3 days a week?
2 or 3 days a month. But when he uses it, he's using it.
Right. Levels it out or evens it out. So I'm going with my car experience that I can get 4 years out of a set of tires. 10 to 12,000 miles a year. In the range of $600 to $800. And are those winter tires studded? So we really don't want to run them in the summer.
Don't want to, but you could.
But
I mean, we did it
you
last
have to
year.
Go to Massachusetts because they'll lock you up.
No, they won't. No,
They say they will. They will.
Yeah.
they won't do that.
But you also have 800 because that's what we spend on winter tires, and aren't winter tires more expensive than
Yeah.
summers?
Potentially, I did not include 800. Did not include the studding. So yeah, there's probably a little cheaper than that.
It's just not every year. But until you got new tires on now for summer and the winters will need to be replaced. You should be, getting that expense out and then happen.
If we approve the summer tires,
Well,
if we approve the summer tires, we're not gonna have to see tires
yes.
on here for
That's what
3
I'm trying to
years.
say. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say.
You never
Stay
know.
away, stay away from.
Just because you said that, he's gonna get a flat tire that destroys the tire this year.
And that's a all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive truck, then you gotta buy four.
Oh yeah, it needs more. We threw away
No,
the
no, I
summer.
know, but because of, I just had that experience. I hit a porcupine
Oh yeah, if you
and it ruined that.
Yep.
And the other two tires in the front as well were wearing because
Right.
it was out of line. I didn't know it.
Mhm.
So I couldn't replace those two front. I had to replace all four. And that hurt.
Mhm.
So I feel your pain. I say go lean. And we'll talk about it next
So
week.
the only thing I would say with lean is if you go lean, that's not gonna be included in the rate case. So if you ever want to reverse any of the lien, you're gonna have to spend it before you can put it in the rate case next time. So if you like cut the NEPA membership, for example, which is included in the lien, in order to add that back, you're gonna have to spend the $1,000 somewhere so that you can then include it in a rate case to go for the next year you want to have it. Does that make sense? If you cut it, you no longer can claim it in your rate case. It's gone.
And the rate, when you say that, that's the justification for a rate increase?
Justification for a rate case is that you have a deficit from the year before. If you don't have a deficit, then you can't
I
submit for a
don't
rate.
understand
Yeah.
that part, so. I almost then to go with your first pass, where all of a sudden you got a surprise of,
Right. This is
of whatever.
what that's telling me. Having an $88,000 deficit is telling me that we have a 2027 rate case that we're going to be putting in.
Yep.
Which it shouldn't. I hope is not super surprising to anybody. But yeah, we're going to have another rate case.
But 88,000 is not as big as
No, it's gone
what
way
we
down.
had.
Our first year, when I first started, we were 280,000. Last year was 300,000. And then we just went down. Now we're going down to 88. Kind of there. And the reason that we were so high the first year was because we didn't get the rate case. We didn't get that 25% until we were halfway through it.
Yeah.
So that was just building from the 2023 deficit. That was 600.
Well, it's pretty clear that power is going to continue to cost more money. They keep shutting down power projects or pushing them off to the future. So the only power we're going to get is from natural gas. That's going to be our biggest cost. There's no new power coming on that's going to help us out.
Not for probably, well, the solar project we talked about.
The solar.
Potentially.
And possibly the battery.
And possibly the battery. But I mean, anything that's starting now, you're probably looking at 5 to 10 years before it'll be online. Even that solar, they're saying 29 to 2029, 2030.
Yeah.
Battery, they're talking 2030.
Okay, so you have here utilities
Yes.
and we spent 7,000. You said first pass 6,491.
Yep.
You say lean, I think I can find some more savings, 4,500.
Yep.
What are you giving up in order to get that savings?
What?
Fuel oil.
The fuel oil is the big one to go from not lean to lean.
So we're talking
Not heating the. garage.
not heating the garage.
Right.
Penny can talk about the days when we didn't to the days that we do.
See, like,
But you're gonna have to ask him that.
Rearsman,
Like,
Do you
because
want-
I nap all day. He says I'm gonna nap my life away, I should work more.
is
Well,
that,
I'd rather nap my life away than work my life away, but nothing.
I'd rather nap it away.
they wanna know if you'd rather have a heated garage out here or a not heated garage out here.
What was it like when,
Oh,
and why did we change that? We added that in not too
heat?
long ago, yeah.
So
Robin
we'll-
Kingsley put it in, I think.
he's asking you.
Yeah, he can't hear me. You're gonna have to ask
I
that
know.
question.
Tell me again.
So Kenny, you remember we added in heat in the back in the garage, right? Not too long ago, like maybe
Yeah,
5, 6 years ago. So we went without heating that garage for a while.
yeah.
Was it sort of a convenience or, I mean, what was it like and why did we add the heat in there? Just so that we could have a nice warm car to get into or
Really
would,
good.
so they wouldn't freeze their
What's
fingers?
this house a year to heat that?
$1,300.
Oh, yeah,
Yep,
it's cheaper than my house.
Who's pointing it?
yeah.
Oh, that's the total.
So.
Yeah, it's totally-
we're looking for $100.
My house is like 3,000.
Oh, that's the only one that you
I
took
paid
out.
700 last week.
Okay.
And I reduced electric by like.
We're
$5.
gonna
So
pay the
that's-
wood every night, the fireplace.
Oh, I don't use wood anymore.
Right,
Unfortunately.
I
So that's, we keep that at 50 in there. The other option, I mean, if you want to do some hybrid, we could reduce it to
But there
40. I don't know
wasn't
how
anything in
long
there
you
that'll
go, but
freeze
I'll
for,
find out.
for things that were stored on the
Ask
shelf.
Rob, he was around at the time.
They said that Robin Kingsley installed the heat appliance.
That had to be 10 years ago.
Yeah.
She's been out of business.
Said what?
Robin Kingsley put the heat in.
I think he did.
Yeah, I think so. Oil, hot air.
So was that meant that there was a oil tank involved in addition? And
I don't know. There is an oil tank. I'm guessing it was probably put in for that.
so the oil was also used over here, so
No,
no, so it
this
was,
is all electric and I'm guessing it always has been. Though we're having issues with it, so I'm hoping to avoid.
I heat my garage with a 1 tank a year. Heats my garage, my big garage. Workshop. I get a lot of sun there
Yeah,
during the day. I get a lot of glass on the doors and it makes a lot of difference.
there's no sun coming in those doors.
Yeah,
And those doors, I mean, they don't open every day, but those are big doors that open fairly often.
and they're open for a while.
And we try to keep them closed
Yeah.
as much as possible.
I mean,
but
like by the time the vehicle
Right.
gets
right,
started,
exactly. And get out
get it
there.
out and then shut it.
So that cools off quite a bit as you're doing that.
Are there fans in there?
So, it's one fan.
Well, you guys do whatever you think. I can see a hybrid in here, but
Yeah.
if you want to just go with the first pass, there's
So,
some cutting in the first pass, and
I'm gonna talk again.
yeah,
I would say go with the first pass, but keep in mind the lien as
Yeah.
you're proceeding and take advantage whenever you can.
that's a good
Agreed.
plan. I know you don't like it, but I still think that VEPSA meetings can be cut back a little bit. But that's just my call, and that's my, for what it's worth. But ditto what John just said.
Triple.
Well, having been in a position to take those trips to Montpelier probably twice a month, a few years ago, it's not a joyride. Not a lot of fun. But I don't know. I have a hard time myself not being at a meeting in person. I don't get as much out of it. I've been in Zoom meetings before that. I just sit there and watch other people talk.
I can't even hear it at the meetings, to be honest. We can't.
Yeah, but you said that was VEPSA's issue that they needed to remedy.
Oh, yeah, I've told them,
Yeah.
but
That's,
mean,
that's, yeah,
you have to remember the VEPSA board meeting is an in-person meeting. It is not intended for people to call in for it.
Yeah.
They do a call in for alternates who are not able to attend the regular meeting. It is not intended for the primary directors. That being said, I will tell you that the first pass budget has me only going to 50% of the VEPSA meetings. I already had cut that to 50%.
Okay.
So that number in here at the first pass is 50%.
okay.
So lean would be going to none.
I don't think that's good. Thank you.
What do you do?
You've got to be at the table of the organization that you depend on the most. I feel.
Are we making a motion to approve this first pass budget? Is that where we're at?
If you guys want to approve it, otherwise I will operate under the lien until we have an approval. Unless you guys tell me otherwise. I mean, I can't really spend money on a budget from you guys, and I'm not sure I can do anything more to get this unless I get more direction from you. I don't know, maybe you guys have different thoughts. Do you want me to work with somebody on the board to try to get a more hybrid one that we can present? I don't know. You can ask Amanda. I've worked on this for 3 months, quite a bit. I've probably spent more time than you would want me to spend on this budget.
So, John, didn't you just say your opinion would be to go first pass,
Yes,
keep lean in mind as you proceed?
Yeah.
And we'll talk again in a month, in February or March.
So
February.
He would like to have a budget.
I was gonna say, if you don't approve a budget tonight,
Okay.
I will go with lean because I don't want to spend all my money and then have you approve the lean
Yeah.
and not have the money left.
Oh.
So I will go with the lean if you don't approve a budget tonight, even if you tell me you want me.
well, I'm gonna make a motion that we go with the first pass.
I second that. It makes sense to me.
All in favor for John's motion to go with the first pass for the 2026 budget?
Aye.
Aye. Kenny?
He's yawning. He's yawning, yes.
I know. Well, not your eyes were open. The budget,
You in favor of John's motion to go with the first pass?
that's this right here.
Okay. All in favor? Motion has been approved. So we have a salaries conversation.
Now we've talked about budget. As you are all aware, I presented, I believe in the August meeting, the comparable salaries based on what others are being paid within the organizations within BEPSA. So I haven't had a whole lot of feedback either direction on whether we want to even try to get to this point or not, where we're
This is the packet that he got you. That's. I'm so sorry.
no, you're good.
Trying to, he was going through all his papers.
Okay, so I believe in August I originally presented the salary comparison document that essentially included what the different BEPSA members are paid based on their positions. As I was saying, we've talked about this probably 4 meetings now, and I haven't had there hasn't been a whole lot of conversation for or against it. And so I don't know if you want me to spend more time working on this or if we should just drop it and move on. I I presented it, and I guess what I would say is if we want to continue to pursue it, I think we should pursue it and figure out how to do it. And I think that is probably going to involve a few more board meetings in between board meetings to get that figured out. But my question for you is, do you want me to be spending more time on this? Again, I haven't had direction either way, so I've been kind of not sure how much time to spend on it or not.
I was under the impression that you were talking with our president.
I was going to, and then I haven't had a chance to figure out. I haven't talked to the president on it because we just haven't had a chance to get together. So the direction from that meeting was that we do want to continue to have a conversation, but work with the president on figuring out what that looks like.
I thought that was in process.
Okay. Then I
That
will.
was the impression I had going away from our meeting in August, I guess.
I think September was the one where
September.
I had a recommendation for you guys, and I think that was okay. Then I will do that. I wasn't sure where we stood on it and where we should head. And I think with Tyler was sick and he fell, and then he was sick, and we just haven't had a chance to catch up. So I will get in touch with him about.
Is that unusual that you didn't hear from him tonight?
50-50 maybe.
I don't know him well enough to know, so.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes he tells us, usually he tells both of us. Usually we're pretty fair. But there are sometimes he doesn't.
Has there been a wellness check done?
I'll send him a text after. Yeah. That's usually what if I don't hear from him, I'll send him a text. He also hasn't cashed his check yet, which is surprised by. Okay, so that's all I had on that one.
New business.
So we have
Disconnect approval.
a disconnect. We have a business that has an agreement that is the center of town, located at the old general store. To not name the name of the business, that is they have an agreement with us to pay $300 a week. They have not been paying that $300 a week consistently at all. We get it very sporadically, and
You go there and say it's,
I do not.
okay.
I do not physically go there. We they owed us about $2,000 at the beginning of last year, I think. They're now up to $3,500, and we're about to send a bill for another $3,000 plus dollars.
You get a call back from them to say, I'm trying.
Yes.
That's,
So you typically with a business disconnect, I've done this before with another one on the other side of town. I usually like to get your approval before I do a disconnect. My next step would be to do a disconnect on this
going on
business.
here.
We asked for them to increase their payments, weekly payments, because we were seeing that it wasn't going to hit the numbers that it needed to, and they pretty much told us no. This was in July when they probably could have afforded to do it. And now I'm guessing they can't afford it. And it really, I mean, we're really, $3,500 is a lot of money. So,
Yes.
you know,
Pennies compared to what they owe me.
so I don't know what else to do. I anticipate if you guys say yes, I mean, you don't need to vote on this, just like consensus. I anticipate the next step would be to call in and have a meeting with them and say, this is the next step. I don't have a choice at this point. This is the next step. We either need to figure out a plan that's going to work, or we really need to do it. They're not.
It's gonna get worse.
Yeah,
It's just, it will.
And they're not gonna run out and buy a generator because they can't afford it to keep going. To keep open, I mean.
So the other thing with the disconnect, if we do a disconnect, or we move towards disconnect, the other thing is we would have to notify the owner of the building. And I would be telling them they're on the hook for, we also do have a deposit of $2,500, which is helping us in this case, but not all. It's not gonna be all. This is a tough one. Amanda and I are struggling with it, but I don't want it to get worse.
Yeah, I mean, you're like,
Yeah, we can't,
you shut off the power, you shut off the ability for them to make money to pay it, but you continue this, and there's not the good intention or the will or the trying.
Well,
And
We're not due
There's-
diligence.
there's,
typically, if you shut off the power, it never happens again.
yeah.
That's usually the catch. Is you do it once.
Do we,
Like when Rod Bemis was here a lot, or Bud, or did that ever happen? That you had to do that to a business in town?
I don't think we've done that.
We've been close.
We've talked
We've been
about it
very
a
close.
lot. When, Pam was here, it was brought up.
We've-
There's, we have another customer who has pushed us
Yeah.
to an unbelievable state, and it was the same conversation. What do we do? Because you shut off the power,
We
the
can't make money.
employees are not working. Now the employees aren't getting paid. It was just, like
Big deal.
we all know the big deal. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying anything that's not ringing in your heads right now. But that company, we did something. I think we did.
Well, yeah,
And now they're
We've had-
starting to do what they should be doing.
I've had two businesses in town that we've had the both of them require the lineman to shut them off because of what they are. I've had two businesses in town where the lineman had the bucket truck set up to do disconnect, and they came in and paid. Two businesses in town. I anticipate this would be a very similar situation. I mean, when you
So it's also,
You don't just pull the meter?
those particular businesses, you can't. This one we could just pull the meter on this one. Those ones have current transformers, so they have power even if they don't have a meter. It's just the way they just need so much power the meter can't handle.
Just saying, if they're not making the verbal effort.
Yeah.
To keep you abreast of that commitment, is there a signature involved that they signed? I promise to pay $300 a
There's
week.
legal contracts.
Okay.
So that's why we have grounds to turn. I mean, if they were paying the $300 a week, even if they were building a bank of a balance, we really couldn't do anything. But we haven't received a payment in I think 4 weeks now.
I would prefer to be in executive session to be able to say more, but I don't think we should.
I don't think we have grounds to go into executive session. Is what I'm
No.
struggling. I'm trying to think of why, because that when I put it on here, I'm like, I don't know what the grounds would be to discuss a customer.
Well, wouldn't it be like discussing
Business, legal business proceeding.
let's say you're on a select board meeting and you want to discuss one of the town employees.
Or one of your vendors.
So that's an employee. We could a vendor. I don't know. Could. That's where I struggled. Employees, absolutely, but it's not an employee we're talking about.
Well, I guess it doesn't.
But I think I do think you
Details
could.
don't need to be.
You could technically enter executive session to discuss a legal proceeding.
Mhm,
And the violation of a contract would be a legal proceeding.
mhm.
And who's the lawyer that you have?
This one came to us from, this is a BEPSA one, so this probably came to us from,
Oh, so it's not like Fisher.
Fisher's who I would reach out to if it was a local level thing, but this is,
I'm gonna make a motion that we go into executive session to discuss a possible legal situation.
I'll second that motion, and that puts us into executive session at,
as long as it's a vote.
oh, and do we have, all in favor? Say aye.
I
Aye.
We're going to mute the camera. All right, we're back in regular session at 8:03. The next thing I had was board member payment clarification. We currently have you guys are paid based on a per meeting basis. I don't know exactly the number. It's either 60 or 65,
60.
per meeting. So my question is, it makes it a little hard to budget because we don't know how many special meetings we'll have. So I try, my goal is to not have it. So my question is that, should it remain as per meeting or should it just be
If
like a per month $60? Or should it stay as per meeting?
Oh, I see.
You get what I mean?
Yeah, if we have 2 meetings in a month, it's still $60.
Right. So last year I paid you the extra meetings, every meeting, because that's what it said in previous things, but you could do a motion to change that. And I wasn't sure how you want to do that.
I think it's gotta be per meeting,
It can be.
because,
That's what it's always been.
I mean, yeah,
And because I think I was the one that brought up the whole idea was that I was getting paid every 2 months.
Correct.
So it was 60 and 60.
Right. So in a month that we have 2 meetings, you're gonna have to be paid once a month.
So I think you're caught up. I keep track. I mean, I
owe
have
you
to keep,
60
I keep
bucks,
track
not
of it.
including this meeting.
Okay. I have.
but I think,
record
you know,
of it.
people that aren't here should not be paid.
Oh, yes, that,
Yeah.
yeah. So the way we do it on the select board is, you get paid, well, they do it every other meeting. So yeah, they get paid per meeting, but they do every other week meetings.
Do they,
So that's twice a month.
do they not pay you if you don't come?
If you miss more than 2 meetings, they start knocking. If you miss a
Not a-
meeting or
It's
two,
not an annual stipend regardless of how much.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you miss a couple meetings, nobody cares. If you miss more than a couple meetings, people start noticing. We start knocking.
So you're gonna go from paying every 2 months to paying once a month?
Well,
Depends on how many meetings we
Yeah.
have.
right.
For
It
you.
would say it depends on how many.
For you.
So I noticed this when I was doing the budget, that came up in the
Sure.
budget, because I was like, I don't really know what to budget, so I think the budget was $4,500. I want to say it was planning for 3 special meetings for the year is what I budgeted for.
Yeah.
But I just wasn't sure if we want to change that.
Well, I don't think we ought to have special meetings
Well, hopefully not.
every month, you know?
It seemed like we had quite a few last year, so that's,
But I think they're all justified.
couldn't agree more. I
Well,
think,
we had some hiring to do.
to be honest, I think I get way less direction in my position from you guys than I should, to be completely transparent. But just my,
What kind of direction?
I think, I feel like you aren't aware of enough of what's going on in the business. I think once a month is very difficult for me to summarize what happened over the course of 1 month in this industry in a 2-hour meeting.
Yeah.
I think that's just difficult to do. That's, and then you guys have to make decisions based on incomplete facts. I think is a challenge. But I think that's the nature of every board.
That's the nature of it. You're not, as a board member, you're not supposed to be in the daily business.
Right.
You're supposed to be in the annual direction.
So and I'm fine with that. It sounds like the consensus is keep it per meeting. I just was hoping to get direction on that, so that's
And then
fine.
get paid every two months.
Every 2 meetings, you'll
Every
get
2
paid.
meetings.
How about that?
Yeah.
That way, if there's a special meeting, you'll get paid once a month. If you're paid every. We guys,
Are we just talking about what Laura gets paid?
Stop it.
Or are we all getting?
you're all gonna be paid
Well,
every time I pay Laura is what I'm hoping, so that I don't have to deal with multiple ways. Is that
Do
okay?
you need a stipend for extra checks?
We have a box. All right.
And you're not mailing them, so most of them are.
Right. Yeah. And with ACH, we save money on the checks too, so. All right, last thing. You're good. Melvin.
Approve comp time rates.
So one thing that I didn't include last meeting when we had Amanda's thing, was comp time. So Amanda or I, if we go out on a outage call on a Saturday, for example, one thing, I mean, we're salary, we don't get paid, overtime. So my belief is that would be a comp time, situation. My suggestion was doing comp time as, nights or weekends would be time and a half. Holiday would be double time. I think that's fairly standard. I don't, maybe somebody else has some direction on that. But I wanted to get your approval on that before we get too far into the year.
I thought comp time was just trading time.
You can do trading time.
Training or
Trading.
Trading.
The problem is if somebody, I'm gonna defend myself a little.
Yeah.
If you're in the middle of, Christmas morning and you're going out because there's an outage, I don't have a choice. I still have to go out.
Yeah.
I believe you should get a little bit more time than what you are putting in for that kind of thing. Or even the middle of the night, I'm
Yes.
home at sleep. Yeah. The trade-off is you get a little extra time. But that's really for you guys to decide.
Well, I think as long as the office is covered,
it would essentially work as a vacation. Is how you would use it. Somebody has to still be here.
Yeah.
Covering, Amanda or I would have time and we would use it as comp time versus vacation time.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But you're suggesting.
Well, we need to
that-
approve the rate is what we need.
You're suggesting that the rate be different than your normal time.
so that let's say you're out for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Then the comp time would be
3 hours. of
3
comp time,
hours.
'cause it's time and a half.
We're not talking about actual money here. We're talking about time.
We're talking about time. Yeah.
For trade.
Yeah. So essentially, if I work a Saturday that I didn't have to normally work, you get that time at a little extra. Or Amanda,
Yeah.
I meant to bring that up at the last one and didn't get a chance to. I just want to approve those rates because I think that's an easy one
Right.
that we can do.
I have a motion to approve comp time rate at time and a half
For nights and weekends
for nights, weekends, holidays.
and holidays, double time. Is what that was my suggestion. I don't know if that's. I think that
that's fair.
is fairly standard. Get over it, older. Is that what it is?
I did.
Or you still have it?
I did get over a cold, but it's just,
It's right there.
it is.
Mm.
Mine lasted like 5 weeks.
Boom. It's not
You're fine everywhere else, but
that little tickle.
yeah.
Mm.
And I don't have any drops on me. I would have had broad bags of them before.
Do I have a motion to approve comp time rates out for nights and weekends at time and a half and holidays double time?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a
Second.
second? Laura seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. That's all I had.
Ken's shaking his head.
Why?
You go to bed.
Oh,
Go to bed.
you're nodding your head.
Thank you for joining us.
I have to go to bed about
I make a motion, we adjourn the
My
meeting.
wife wants to go to bed about 10.
Laura's gonna second that, isn't she? All in favor?
During the meeting at 8:13.
8:30.